Today I'd like to bring to your attention a potential fraud on an enormous scale happening in York County. There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to grossly mislead the public about astronauts being on the International Space Station.
NASA, the space agency, is suing Apollo 14 astronaut Edgar Mitchell over possession of a camera he used on the surface of the moon and reportedly tried to sell.
An astrobiologist named Dr. Ron Joseph is suing NASA over a photo taken on January 8th on Mars of a rock.
To bring to your attention a potential fraud on an enormous scale happening in York County. There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to grossly mislead the public about astronauts being on the International Space Station. During interior ISS scenes from NASA's own live feed, the use of wires, harnesses, green screens, and virtual reality have been detected to achieve the appearance of a weightless environment.
Yeah, he the total swing, just about ready to do that thing. I don't want no tears, I don't want no lies. Above all, I don't want no alibis. This judge is hip, and that ain't all. He'll give you time if you're big or small. Fall in line, or this coat is neat. Peace, brother. Pick up the judge, pick up the judge. Everyone show and be the judge.
There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to grossly mislead the public about astronauts being on the International Space Station. During interior ISS scenes from NASA's own live feed, the use of wires, harnesses, green screens, and virtual reality have been detected to achieve the appearance of a weightless environment. Examples of this include astronauts fading in and out of the screen, green screen glitches, grabbing objects that aren't really there, pulling on invisible wires, getting tangled in their harnesses, and even astronauts appearing out of thin air. This begs the obvious question. If they're really up there, why are they using Hollywood techniques to fake the footage?
Filed by a woman over moon dust is going forward. Laura Seco from Rutherford County is suing NASA. She claims astronaut Neil Armstrong gave her a vial of moon dust nearly 50 years ago when she was just a child. Seco says her father was friends with the man, the first man on the moon through aviation circles. NASA considers all lunar material government property. So Seco is suing to make sure the space agency doesn't take her dust away. But is this dust even real?
Outside the International Space Station, during spacewalks, air bubbles have been recorded on numerous occasions. How is it possible for air bubbles to be present in the vacuum of space? I once questioned astronaut Scott Kelly about this phenomenon. His body language and answers only created more questions. In 2013, astronaut Luca Parmitano nearly drowned during a spacewalk when his helmet filled with water. This happened again just last year. Air bubbles, helmets filling with water, and drowning. Are they in space or are they underwater?
A unique piece of American history is up for auction, and NASA is not happy about it.
The first ever collected sample of moon dust from the Neil Armstrong famous Apollo 11 mission is expected to sell for about $1 million. The auction house doing the sale with proceeds going to scientific charities, but NASA's battle to keep lunar dust out of private hands goes back decades. This is the first time that NASA verified moon dust will actually be legally sold.
Now, what's really interesting is that they train for spacewalks in an underwater pool with a complete ISS replica. Now, surely they aren't filming these spacewalks in an underwater pool and then editing them to appear if they're in space, because that sure would be something, wouldn't it?
Mitchell recently put the camera up for auction. The federal government took note and filed suit, asking for the camera to be returned to NASA, saying it had never been officially given to Mitchell.
In addition to taking the data out of it, the tape, I brought the camera itself back too. We'd talked with management and we knew what we were bringing back.
I'm calling on the Brevard County Commissioners to open a full investigation into NASA's fraudulent practices and use of taxpayer dollars. It costs NASA $3 billion per year to operate the ISS, and if they don't have a darn good explanation as to why they're faking these videos, I and the public would like a darn good explanation as to where our tax money is going. And if they are indeed faking the funk, it is our duty to expose and eliminate this fraudulent and astronomically wasteful ISS program. And look, I know what you're all thinking. The NASA is part of the federal government, and you're just county commissioners. Even if what I'm saying is true, what can you do? But let me remind you, not only is this happening in your county, as public officials, you have the platform and the ability to make a statement or hold a press conference, alerting the public, state, and federal authorities to investigate further. You have the power to start the conversation. Video evidence of everything I described today will be emailed to you all, and I truly hope we can get to the bottom of this. I look forward to the day that $3 billion annual budget is put towards our veterans, our homeless, maybe some of that mental health stuff the young lady just spoke about, and the revitalization of Brevard County.
Lay down the law. They better not budge, for I'll bust some heads because I am the judge. Take out the judge. Take out the judge. Everybody knows he is the judge.
Is this dust even real? Testing was not conclusive.
Shame for such a high profile.
It sure
You
is.
cringe to watch that with NASA and one of their celebrated astronauts.
The service that he gave all of us.
But the fight goes on.
Then I said, contact light, engine stop, and a few other things. And then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed. Man, how about that?
That was very exciting.
Not a bad line.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a spiritual battle. A warfare between good and evil.
Thanks a lot for searching that out. I appreciate that. Fisherman in the box. Fisherman in a box.